Hi, welcome to Let's Talk About Some Shit with me, M, and
Well, someone's amused.
we'll call him the Joker for now. And our other host.
Hello, this is Pixie.
Today we're gonna
Y'all want to go?
today we're gonna discuss a dislike for Adobe products. We're also going to discuss some upcoming games that we're really excited for, some movies. Pixie, you had some topics you wanted to bring up, right?
Yes, but we'll get to that because if I start now, I will ramble.
Uh, and then Joker, you had some as well, correct?
Nope, I had no clue. I was just here.
Well, like you gotta have some like anime or something that's coming up that you're really excited about or you want to talk about.
Yeah. I'm on some Demon Slayer right now, for real.
Well then let's start with that. What are you excited for the new like what new season of Demon Slayer? Because like I know they had they had the movie and I thought that was ending it, but like are they doing like a new season?
Uh, shit. Nah, I just want the fucking I just want the fucking episodes to catch up with the damn manga.
So like where are they at right now then?
So I think the manga's actually finished right now. They already been whoop Muzan ass. But I need them to hurry up because the animation gonna be fire as hell to me.
Yeah, no, that's usually how it is. Like I remember when like Super was first coming out and it was like, man, the manga's way ahead of this already. Then again, I don't really care for Tomotaro's storytelling, so you know it's whatever. Pixie, any opinions from you?
Don't watch Demon Slayer, so I have zero opinions.
Okay, are you excited
You'll
for
find
like?
that this happens a lot.
I was waiting for you to go. I'm really excited for the next Pokemon season.
I also don't watch the Pokemon anime because the protagonist annoys me.
You mean the little 10-year-old that's voiced by a woman and has been for years? Somewhat is annoying.
He's annoying, but mostly for his personality.
I'm gonna be honest. He should have evolved that Pikachu years ago. He really should have.
He
There's
should
a
have
lot.
evolved, but he's still fucking 10. I have a problem with it. He's still fucking 10. How long has fucking Pokemon been out? And he's still fucking 10?
Well,
Yeah,
even
yeah.
better. Even better. I should send you a picture.
I
Hey,
don't know.
Pixie, do you remember how old he looked in the Diamond and Pearl era?
Yes, I do.
Bro, he looks younger.
How do you think our friend here is going to react to that one?
I
Good question.
have an extreme unhealthy hatred for Ash. I don't know why. It's just a problem with him being 10 for this many years.
I don't have
Unhealthy
a
hatred.
I don't have a problem with him being 10, even though it is quite uncanny. I have an issue with just him being just annoying.
Oh, here you go. How old do you think he is in this?
See,
And that's
I
why
see that one, so I know how old he actually is. But he looks like he should be like 13.
By the way, like all the female characters who look like they're 13 or 14, smaller than him. They look younger to a degree.
I don't know.
Typically, yeah.
You would have a problem with that nigga, bro.
How old is he in that image?
I don't know.
He is 10.
He stays fucking 10 throughout the whole season, from what I know.
You know what's even worse? He turns 11 at the end of the first series and is 10 again for the second one.
Yep.
I want to punch him in the face.
He goes through 3 Christmases in Kanto. 3! That motherfucker.
I don't like it. I don't like him.
I don't either. Nobody does. Except for little 10-year-olds. They love him.
I had someone be like, "Oh, you're just a Gen 1er then if you don't like Ash," and I'm like, "No, it's
That's
just
who-
I find Red more tolerable."
I was waiting for you to say you're a Gen 1er if you don't like Ash. It's like, motherfucker, that's who he was for. It was
Exactly.
you assholes, not us. His first adventure is in Kanto. His favorite Pokemon is Pikachu. A fucking Pokemon that is only exclusively in Johto, Kanto, and like 2 other regions.
I was about to say he's in Sinnoh and Kalos.
Yeah, but he's not even
And then,
like he's in Hoenn, and it's
oh, that's right.
he's
Because he's in the forest, but he has like a low chance of being caught.
he's in Hoenn, but it's not in the base game. I want to say it is only in the remix. I want to say because
I think question mark, but I never played the original, so
because he's in that game solely so they could add cosplay Pikachu. I want to say.
TV Hoenn.
I don't even remember. I don't even remember Kalos having him. I remember.
Kalos has him, and I remember this because you can also find him in the. I'm pretty sure he is, anyways.
I know he's in Sinnoh, which doesn't make sense because Pachirisu is there, and it's a way better Pokemon. GG Fight Me, Squirrel better than Mouse. I'm gonna be honest.
It slightly makes sense because Pachirisu is believed to be. The Pachirisu family is believed to be related to the Pikachu family.
I'm gonna be honest. If I saw someone getting like nuzzled by a squirrel, I'd feel more comfortable with that person than someone with like a big mouse. Don't get me wrong, mice are cute, but like, I don't know, it's something about Pikachu.
One's a Disney princess versus one just having a fat rat.
What you mean to say is, one has a rat that's just too much of a coward to admit it's a rat. Like Chuck E. Cheese.
You know what? Not wrong.
I mean, that's what he is.
You mean Ronald Entertainment Cheese, man?
It is Charles Entertainment Cheese.
Charles, that's what it is. Charles.
Because it's shortened to Chuck. He's Chuck
Yeah,
E.
Charles.
Cheese.
Charles Entertainment Cheese. Yes.
And do you know the
I
funny?
haven't-
Do you know the funny reason that he's no longer a rat? He's a mouse now.
Why?
You know, that great mouse that entertains children throughout the world and is really well known for all his entertainment options.
Hint,
Indeed.
hint.
Who does that sound like?
Sounds like Freddy.
Does it sound like a certain...
What the fuck was that?
Hey there, guys, it's me! Chuck E. Cheese! It's totally not copyright infringement. That's my OC, do not steal.
I totally didn't just recolor the main character.
It's not Mickey Mouse, but in a purple jumpsuit. And like skateboarder shorts and knee pads. It's my own original character. Well, then why did you change him from being a rat to a mouse? Oddly getting closer to the original, as it were. You can't prove that in a
Because
court of law.
You can't prove it.
I just imagine them making up some fake bullshit, just like, because having a rat in the pizzeria would be bad. Okay, but so would be having a mouse.
I'm gonna be honest. I'm gonna be honest. A rat in the pizzeria would be the least of their problems. Have you had their pizza?
Rats don't want it.
Yeah, there you go. And at least if there were rats in the restaurant, it'd mean somebody wanted to eat that. There's not even cockroaches in there. And that's
I'm low-key surprised they went out of business right now.
They did.
I was about to say, I'm also surprised given the fact that I drive by there and it's actively still full of people somehow at night. Exactly. When they're open, of course.
They went out of business and then they came back like the zombie shambling corpse of a corporation.
And now it's haunted.
They came back like the roaches they are during the apocalypse.
You had an option to say rat, and that's sad.
Yeah, the rats wouldn't survive a nuclear apocalypse. Cockroaches would.
I don't know. Chuck E. Cheese seems like he might. I don't know what he eats.
He's created from nuclear waste.
I especially felt offended when he said I especially felt offended when he said poggers on stream once.
What?
Oh, have you not seen this? Oh, fuck. Yeah.
Don't.
I know I've shown it to him, but oh my god, yes, perfect. The fact that you've never... I'm gonna send it. I'm gonna send it. You need to quickly watch this, Pixie. It's fucking amazing.
I'm terrified.
Oh, it's amazing.
It's stupid. I'm never acknowledging it.
That's the point. That's why it's funny.
It serves no purpose.
That's the point. The fact that he makes a little moan after it is the funniest part. Like he's
I already hate it.
Here you go. It is now in. It is now in chat.
I was about to say I already hate it, and I haven't even watched it yet.
So this was during this was during COVID. So they were going out of business because no one could come eat their food. Which is so great that at this point they'd already changed him to a mouse, but everyone that knew he was a rat at first found it hilarious because it's the rat telling all the little kids, you know what, kids, it's okay. Come on back to Chuck E. Cheese. COVID's over. You're good. You don't need to worry about it. I, your friendly rat, will teach you health tips.
My God, he does say poggers.
Listen to him whimper. Listen to him whimper. It's like it hurt him.
You thought it was a joke? No.
Someone in the comments said, for further context, I've looked through other stream clips, and as far as I know, this is the only time he's ever spoken on stream.
Oh, yeah, no. And even weirder. So this is during the big first boom of VTubers. And during that, they're like, how do we get with those kids? Oh, we gotta get Chucky streaming. Okay, cool. Well, we can, make an avatar for... No, puppet. It needs to be a creepy puppet that doesn't blink. Well, we'll get the Chuck E. Cheese voice actor, right? No. Get Todd in accounting to do it and have him do weird whimpers after he says some lines. Because, by the way, you can mistake that for it actually being Fall Guys, which is what he's playing. And you're like, oh, it's just the Fall Guys. No. That's him, because he moves the puppet, too. Did you see that, Pixie? Where he's kind of, shaking the puppet? And it's like, no, he's making it make that sound, and I don't like that.
I don't either. I hate that.
It's like it hurt him to say that. And it's weird, because he stares at the camera like he's, worried that he just said something like a racial slur. I'm stealing this joke, by the way, from Oni Plays. For anyone that's like, oh my god, how dare they steal this joke? It's a good joke. I can reference it. Neither of them have seen it. I'm gonna take a sip of my water. I'm gonna be honest, I keep forgetting because I'm keeping my water on top of my second computer because I don't have a table in here. And on top of that computer is also a Pokemon card. You want to guess what Pokemon card it is? That's getting... That is getting cut. Gonna time that. Gonna time that. Gonna time that. That was about 14 minutes into the recording. So glad that happened. You could tell I was having issues with it earlier too. I'm like, no, use screening. That's why I haven't said your name at all this entire time, and I just keep calling you Joker because you wanted to laugh.
Glorious.
Because like if I tried to use our nickname for you, I most definitely would have just had that problem. I'm gonna be honest. I keep looking at your profile pic, Pixie, and all my brain keeps trying to default it to is it's not a conductor hat. It's a stack of hats, topped off with a top hat.
Oh my god, that'd be great.
Like, do you see what I mean? Because like his color scheme at the top there, the image makes, because it's the trees in the background, makes it look like it's like the like shimmer line where it's like that's where the light's at on this top hat.
Yeah. Trust me, I'm looking at it from an angle I can see what you mean.
It's so great. All right, so we were discussing so many things. I am super excited. I'm thinking about watching the new Predator, like, prequel movie thing. You know, Prey.
Yeah.
I'm so excited. I want to watch that. I haven't watched it yet. I've been meaning to. Mainly because I'm a huge nerd and I love the Predator series. I loved the first two. Predators was okay. I did not watch that garbage one that was directed by the dude who was like the comedy actor who was in the first one or second one. I forget. The one that ends with Robot Predator. Like they're about to do a fucking garbage crossover with the Terminator.
Nani?
No, they're not. Like, but the last one they made before Prey ended with, here, let me pull up a picture of it. It looks so stupid. Here it is. It's called The Predator Killer.
Predator Killer.
Yeah, it looks like shit. So, this film came out, what, 2019, 2020, 2021, maybe?
So sometime within the last, 5 years?
Mm-hmm.
You
All
talk
right.
about the one with the Super Predator?
Yes. How do you do an effect to make it look like a cool Predator suit in your mind? Do you A, make the effect physical? B, do CGI? C, do bad CGI that looks like almost like something ripped from a 2002 video game CGI cutscene? Like, it's really good for the time, but it definitely doesn't look real. Which one do you do?
I don't know. I prefer the first Predator, so shit real.
Pixie, what do you think? Gotta remember, this movie came out like in the last 5 years. So what as a film executive do you go, this is what the audience wants?
You said for a Predator suit, right?
Yes. It's supposed to look like a Predator suit, but it's for peoples.
I was about to say, I'm personally a sucker for doing that stuff physical.
Oh, good. No, it looks like shitty PS2 CGI cutscene.
Christ, I can see what you mean.
Even better,
Yes.
there's supposed to be a person in that, supposedly.
Oh, that one.
How?
Yeah, that's ass. I know.
Could you imagine being like the guy who's like, this is gonna look amazing. This is so good. So I'm like a big fan of React Artist, if you know what that is. It's from fuck, what is the group? It is Corridor Digital, where it's VFX Artist Reacts.
Yeah, I think I know what
And
you're
like,
talking about.
they have this whole discussion about how they feel visual effects can look and what the problems is. And looking at this, I'm like, I never did, like, I've never gone full force into learning 3D modeling and rendering like that. I know basics of it, like the concepts behind it. I'm 2D digital artist pretty much exclusively. Holy fuck. The problems in this I cannot even begin to describe, but I can start with the fact that where the fuck is the light coming from?
Yeah, because if there's supposed to be a person in that, then they are either getting blinded or can't fucking see out
Well,
of
no,
it.
look at like just the lighting of the scene. Where is the light coming from?
That too. That
It doesn't look like it's in the
Wow.
scene. Because you can see the lights around it. It's supposed to be surrounding it. Why are then there like super dark spots on it? There should be no dark
Yeah.
spots.
Yeah, no, especially around the shoulders and stuff, it should also have the highlights there.
Do you know what makes that worse? Not only do you
What?
know that's supposed to be happening, because you see the lights in the background, they put the lights on the front of the helmet.
Yeah.
You can see it on the right side of the front of the helmet. But why are there none on the left side either? Why is it backlit on that side?
That is so weird.
And it gets weirder. Because then you look at the right shoulder, where it should also have a highlight if the light's hitting the front right side of the face, right? Not there.
Yeah.
Doesn't exist. Same with the
That-
chest.
I have to click away from that image because that image is upsetting me.
You know what gets weirder? Fucking left side of the chest has light. Look down at the
You
bottom.
are correct. What on earth?
It's so crazy. I'm like, how do you fuck this up that bad?
Where the beams coming from?
It's that
The beam looks like it's coming from
So
one
you-
of the little stands behind it.
it is not. That is on it.
Is it?
That is a part of it.
What on earth? That
It
does
is.
not
It
look
doesn't.
like it's
It
part of it.
exactly because you see what that is its targeting system. You know how like the other predators have the shoulder cannon thing that has the light built into it.
Yeah.
Those things that look like garbled nonsense on the side of the picture on both sides. That's its shoulder weapons.
What on earth?
Yes.
Which does not look right on it because the freaking whole suit is freaking retarded small.
Yeah, no, like it's tiny. Like that's a normal sized dude supposedly. Like the top of his head is supposed to be like maybe an inch below that helmet, if that.
No.
I wish I had like a full body picture of it instead of that garbage, because it gets so stupid. Look, here it is.
Look, he's found a cursed image.
Oh, even better, I found the scene.
I imagine the scene makes it so much worse.
It does, because it even better. Look at the image when you see this.
Ew. Just from the fucking picture, it looks disgusting.
I was about to say, just from the thumbnail, this looks bad.
2018, by the way. There you go.
So 4 years ago.
Yeah. Told you, it's been like past 4 years. And they thought this looked good. They're like, yeah, no, ship it out. It goes out.
Gee, no wonder I never heard about this movie.
It is garbage. The effect for the main bad guy looks like shit. It's called the Super Predator, I believe.
Yes, it is.
Because the main good guy in this film is the fugitive predator. No, it is not the super predator. It is the upgrade predator.
That sounds so fucking stupid.
Oh.
As someone who does not watch this franchise.
Oh, here. No, look at this amazing image of this amazing effect that totally looks real and in the scene.
No.
How do you make something so bad that it makes probably what is like a photo scan copy of that person for the effect look faker than fake?
That hurts my stomach to look at.
It's so bad. Like, I don't get how they did this. Like, it is an abomination.
Again, how is this allowed to be released?
The Predator movie. That's why.
No, that is not why. So the film before this was Predators, which was a box office failure, I want to say, at the time. It did not perform as good as they wanted. It was basically a film which was multiple predators hunting multiple humans on what it was basically like a game reserve planet. Because like the whole concept behind the Predator films is, what if you were in a horror film where you were the animal being hunted by a hunter? So it's like, what if you were the deer? But
So the most dangerous game, but aliens.
Yeah, but like, unlike the most dangerous game where you're pretty much on equal playing grounds, this thing has weapons that are equivalent to like a lion. It's like, yeah, you could maul the shit out of him because in this scenario, it's like as a lion you have claws and teeth and stuff, but as the human hunting you has a gun, right? So in this case, it's like, well, my defense weapons are guns and my intellect. It's like, this thing is smarter than you and has lasers that punch holes in cars.
Casually.
It's like, it has weapons that slice through, like, buildings. It's like, not really a fair fight. But, like...
To be fair, this nigga don't hunt just anybody.
Yeah, no, he has rules, because he's like an honorable hunter.
Yeah.
They have tons of rules. Yautja. Yeah, no, their rules are like no hunting women, children,
or sick people.
Yeah, sick people. The other one is, but it will break those rules for hunting women, or the sick if they have weapons. Because the idea is that at that point you can fight back. You're not like helpless. So it's like if you were hunting deer and then the doe suddenly came at you with a knife. It's like, you know what? All bets are off. I'm shooting you now.
All I can think of is the fucking dog with the knife.
Yeah. No, it's just like that. It's exactly like that. But so their other rules are they won't hunt. So not only will they not hunt women, but even if a woman is fighting back, it won't hunt her if she's pregnant.
Can't be pregnant.
The other one is that they won't if you what'd you
prize.
What'd you say?
You can't steal another Yacht's trophy.
Oh yeah, you can't do that.
Can't-
You can't if the prey kills one of your hunting party, that prey is good. You don't get to hunt it. You can come back and hunt it, but that hunting trip, that prey won. It's like if you and a
Listen,
group of friends went to go hunt a lion, and the lion killed one of you. It's like that lion won. We leave.
disrespect.
They literally will give you a trophy and like, no, we're coming back. We might murk your ass next time.
But for now,
But-
you live.
But for now, you live. It's kind of like
Present time.
it's like that deer was the strongest one. It impaled that dude on its horns. Let it survive. I want to hunt stronger deer next time I'm here.
I'll let you live to train another day.
Yeah, I'll let you live so you can train your successor so I can hunt all of them. And prove I'm better than Todd over here.
Oh yeah, another one of the rules. You cannot kill another Yachtcha. You kill another Yachtcha or break any of the rules, you're becoming a bad boy.
Yeah,
You're getting hunted by it.
you are now prey. You are no longer a predator. You are prey.
Bad boy.
And there are many rules that can break bad blood. So notoriously, bringing other species into clans can also get you branded as a bad blood. It's like being on Team Rocket.
Man, as long as they earn that right.
No,
They
even
earn it.
even then, it's like very notorious that it's like you can be blooded as a non-Yautja, but you are not a part of a clan. Like coming in on planet and being like full on indicted into the clan, big no.
I don't know if anybody got full of blood. Like
There has
It's been motherfuckers
there
that
has
have
been
hearts,
one.
man.
There's been one, and it was in the comics, and they notoriously point out that they're kind of racist. They're like, no, you're not one of us. Despite the fact that that one human predator is a female and she kicks so much ass. She is like the baddest of badasses. Like, she scalps xenomorphs for the fun of it kind of shit.
Christ.
Which, if you don't know what a xenomorph is, that's the alien from the movie Alien.
Yeah, I know what a xenomorph is, at least.
That's prime prey right there. That's prime
Yeah, no,
prey.
the serpents, they're great. You forgot about that one. That's what they call them, remember?
Oh yeah, they call them serpents.
How many serpents did you hunt? It's like, that has legs. Oh yeah, the best serpents have those. Ever heard of dragons? I'd love...
You've been hunting dragons lately.
You know what? Now I want a Predator film taking place in like the 18th century where they're hunting dragons, and it's like, oh no, those weren't myths. Everyone in the human race was right. Those are real things. We just made sure they don't exist.
I wouldn't be surprised.
It's like-
Predator's been around.
No, it's like, is that why there are no skeletons? You just took them all for trophies? Oh yeah.
Yeah. It's on my
Obviously.
wall. It's on my wall of trophies. It's the biggest one. Right next to the queen of the serpents.
For some reason, I thought you were going to say right next to the Queen of England. I was going to be like, what?
Yo, that's too soon. And I'm part Irish, so, you know, I'm allowed to make jokes about that, you know. Fucking bitch. Probably gonna have to cut that.
Probably.
Minute,
probably.
about 35.
That's gonna have to go.
We're probably gonna have to cut that last little bit right there.
Go ahead, edit that out.
Oopsie.
It's just a clip of me in the background in like a big recording booth thing where we green screen everybody in. And it's just me doing the net chop like no, we on the air. Ugh, yanking at my neck like the fucking, like, the Fonz or somebody in a fucking comedian act. Like, oi. Could have been worse.
I was about to say that could have been a much worse joke.
Well, the reason it could have been worse is, like, especially because, like, some of us in this call are white, if you could not tell, and we could have been saying something stupid.
Yeah, I'm aware of which group you're talking about now.
That they were kind of idiots, you know, not the greatest of people to sit there and talk down about people like that.
Kind of.
My favorite is a bit from the comedian Steve Hofstetter where he jokes about how dumb those motherfuckers are. It's like, you know, they're sitting there like, we love white America. Because, you know, they're neo-Nazis. That was what they were. They made it very clear. And they're like, you know, we love white America. While wearing clothes from China, carrying tiki torches that are based off Polynesian culture, that have all probably come from like an Italian or European restaurant.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
It's just, you know, it's amazing. So, you know, we were discussing our topics that we want to discuss today. I mentioned Prey. What are some games you guys are looking forward to?
Well, has anyone else seen the direct that happened a couple days ago?
I watched snippets of it, mainly because it was pretty funny to watch Donkey sit there and talk about the fact that it seemed like it was the farming direct.
Correct, which I actually don't mind because I kind of like Farming Sim.
I mean, I do, but I'm gonna be honest. Nintendo, we get it. Stardew was popular. You don't need to re-release Harvest Moon 17 times under different titles on the Switch.
Quite true.
The re-release of Rune Factory, cool. That's great. It's a good thing that we're getting a re-release of that. It's been a while. But then you've got like, but we've got 3 more that are new. It's like, I don't need 3 more. I'm going to be having my hands full with Rune Factory. And like,
I was about to say another one was Story of Season, but if I recall correctly, no, it's not Story of Seasons that people don't like anymore. It's
Harvest
the
Moon.
Harvest.
Because
Yeah.
Story of Seasons is Harvest Moon. But Harvest Moon was the title that the Japanese and the American company that produced them owned, whereas the games were owned by Natsume, I believe it was. Or it's the other way around, and Natsume owned the name and stuff. But basically, the company that made the games had access to the games, but the company that produced it and released it worldwide had the copyright to the name. So they just kept releasing garbage games under that. I should know. I have Lighthouse of Hope, which is the first
That's
Switch
right.
one.
Yeah, they're releasing another Story of Seasons, if I recall correctly. Harvestella, which had already been announced, now has a demo, which admittedly I'm not a fan of because when you're outside, everything, including your character, looks blurry. It's a farming sim. Where are you going to be spending most of your time?
Well, you never know. Like, when I played Stardew, my big thing was I liked making wine, which, speaking of Stardew, before we get back on our talk of new games we're excited for, can we talk a fucking second about the garbage system for item, like, worth in Stardew?
That system is so fucking bonkers.
It is so bad.
I'm curious to see if it'll be improved in the Haunted Chocolatier.
Could we just get, like, an update for Stardew that fixes it? Like, that's all I'd want.
True.
give the ratings a new system of 1 to 5 stars. Make the separate quality be the bronze, the no star, the bronze, the iron, gold, and then iridium quality, and each level being how well the crop is / item. So it's like I have an iridium quality egg. If I do it properly, I get an iridium quality mayonnaise, and then you have each one of those is split into 1 to 5 stars in that category, depending on how well you made it. So it's like if you cooked with them, multiple ingredients will add to the overall rating, and then your star value determines how well the item was made anyways.
Yeah.
But no, they just like, it's just even weirder. Some of those things have random values. So like mayonnaise does not go up even if you use like a higher quality egg, which is so crazy. And what makes that even worse is that you can have iridium quality fruits, but the wines start off with no quality. You have to cask them, which is
That's the thing that I was going to point out, where in fact that, even if you use iridium quality fruits like grapes, grapes, apples, whatever, you end up still having to wait the entire time for the iridium quality stuff, where you would assume that a higher quality fruit would get you a higher quality
if
wine.
you don't want to add that new system, just make star quality a thing, and that's how good the item is, and that's what you raise when you do the casking, which causes it to do like a price multiplier.
Yeah.
And then the item quality is determined from whatever the base quality is. So if it's gold, if it's iron, gold, or iridium, it just transfers over. I can tell Joker here is about to type something up about how he is completely lost because he's not played any of these games. Even better, I'm using OBS for your channel because it's just recording the Discord call itself. So it's picking up this because it's visually recording it. I'm not going to use the visual, but it's hilarious because if I did, that's just in the background there. And then I've got Audacity recording myself.
Don't do that.
Oh, I'm not going to put up the visual because I've got like all my stuff on the side there. Because it's picking up the whole window. Yeah, like we can. If you want, you could go on and exit and we could finish up me and Pixie. You want to do that? All right. So, for those wondering, Joker's going to go on and get off here. He'll join us again probably for next episode, right?
Hi.
We'll probably have more to discuss about, especially because, like, my main topic of talking about my hate for Adobe is probably going to be more centered around, like, a nice direct conversation with Pixie. As Joker here doesn't use, like, digital art means like that, so he has no need to really... Here, go on and give him the Spark Notes version of your opinions on Adobe.
Adobe is shit.
Too expensive. I don't own it. I don't need it. Bye. That's probably about where we could sum it up for you, right?
Yes.
All right. Anything else you want to tell everyone before you head out? Like anything you want to promote?
Try to catch up on all the new anime. Stay safe. And goodbye.
All right. See you later.
Bye.
So we were discussing games that were coming up. What one are you in in hype for, I guess, would be the best way to put it.
Good question. I have two that I'm kind of excited for. And I think one of them, it's kind of everyone who plays Nintendo Switch is excited for, which is Tears of the Kingdom finally having its name revealed, along with the fact
and
that
its release
going to be
date.
snippets more lore.
We also
And
we
its
also
release
yeah
date.
that's the big one. The release date was the one.
And it's also up for pre-order right now.
I know, but I don't have the extra money for it, and that hurts me so much. I mean, I do, but like I don't, because like for those who don't know, I'm trying to pay off bills, so you know, it's like I have the extra money to put down on it, don't really have the money to buy it. The other one you're excited for?
Fire Emblem Engage looks interesting. I'm not excited for the logo because the logo looks awful. However, I'm interested to see how the story goes with this, given the fact that it seems to be the essence of we are summoning heroes from other worlds still.
See, I saw parts of that trailer, which interested me, especially because of the new. I was discussing this with somebody earlier, actually. I'm really excited for us to get a redo on like the main character, like concept that we got for Fates. You know, with dragon powers.
Yes.
Which is great for a main character to have. We haven't had that for more than like one generation, and not to be like really mean about it or sound really down, but man, Fates was not great. I'm gonna be honest.
I have heard Fates was not great.
Oh, have you not played them?
I have it, and no, I have not. I own Conquest and Birthright, but I have not gotten the chance to play them yet.
So, both of them have one major flaw. You can't have characters from the other side join your party, pretty much. For that, you had to buy what was basically a paid-for DLC, which was the third and true path of the game, which you can't do now.
Yeah, I was about to say, that was Revelations, if I recall correctly?
I believe that was the name of it, yeah. And the problem with that was that it's like where all the good big reveals for that game are, is in that.
Indeed.
Like they have,
but it was tied to the Nintendo 3DS shop, which is now closing down, and you can no longer purchase stuff.
Oh yeah, no, and it's ridiculous. It's a stupid concept. Like, why would you fucking like get rid of that? Just tie its server system down to the Switch server system, and like I know their like claim is like, oh well, it's not the same system. It's like, I don't give a shit. It's free money. You just keep it up.
I was about to say, it's also tied to the Nintendo's, the Nintendo account servers anyways, so it shouldn't really matter trying to keep up those accounts because you still can, because all of them are linked to the same systems essentially. Not to mention the fact that there are still a lot of people who purchase 3DS software.
Oh yeah, So, back in May, just before they were going to shut it down, I bought every single one of the, what is the name of that series? Etrian Odyssey. I bought every single one of the Etrian Odyssey games that they had on the 3DS store. Which are all very interesting Atlas games if you never played them. They're very hard to get. Notoriously, Atlas produced very few of them every single time they'd come out, and by the time you'd go back to buy them, some of them would be like $200. Here, actually, let me pull up the Etrian Odyssey 2 price, and I'll let you know. Continue what you're saying while I look that up.
I was about to say, and unfortunately with Nintendo shutting down the eShop, they're basically forcing that scarcity onto all of the physical copies of games, which are slowly, either getting destroyed by, say, natural disaster or a kid being stupid and throwing away the cartridge.
So,
if I can speak, that'd be great.
So, the last one, the one that was on 3DS, Etrian Odyssey 5 and like Etrian Odyssey Untold: The Millennium Girl, which was like these came out like 2016, 2017, maybe 2018, somewhere in there. Guess what
And
their
I'd
price?
say so.
So these are games that are not even a decade old. How expensive do you think they are?
I'd wager 130,
So
150.
for an Amazon seller or Play Asia, some of the most Paragon levels of like, I will definitely get what I paid for.
This is totally trustworthy.
$54 base.
Okay.
However, going down to a trusted store, because by the way, Play Asia does not have the trusted store from Google. Literally, the next line has a trusted store from them for Untold: The Millennium Girl. Would you like to guess that one? It's from a company called E-Night Media.
So if the other one wasn't trusted, I assume this one would be 80?
$189.99.
Damn.
Etrian Odyssey
So
3.
even my
Etrian Odyssey 3, The Drowned City, from a trusted seller, $209.
wow. So even my first original guess was lowballing.
Oh yeah, no, they're ridiculous. Like they start at that level of price. There are definitely way more. Like I'm getting some from Etsy and Bonanza and things like that. Not trusted sites, and they're going for way less. But then you get to like Mercari, for Etrian Odyssey Nexus, a 3DS game, $230.
Christ.
They're notoriously hard to get. And what the thing was that was why they were so interesting and unique and why they're such great games is how they used the DS line, because they're all DS games, which is sad because we're probably never going to get a new Etrian Odyssey game now that the DS lineup is dead. Is the way they used the second screen on the DS was that was the map.
Oh.
And while that sounds not all that interesting, because, like Zelda for Phantom Hourglass and Spirit Tracks used the map on the bottom screen.
Yeah.
Etrian Odyssey is a dungeon explorer. It's an RPG like that. What is a unique tool you can do for a dungeon explorer?
Typically with dungeon explorers, it'd be like you slowly reveal more of the map as time goes on. You can see enemies sometimes, stuff like that.
Have you ever played the original Zelda?
I have not. I've been wanting to. I know it's on the I know it's with the Nintendo Online lineup. I just have not gotten the chance to get around to it.
Do you know the notorious thing that a lot of people don't know about?
What?
That game doesn't have a map.
I had noticed that whenever I saw gameplay of it.
Hey.
Which, admittedly, would be super confusing.
So, all of the key locations that are in Zelda games from then on are in that game, pretty much. Death Mountain, the Fairy Fountains, all that stuff. Even Ganon's Castle and stuff.
Ah, okay.
However, what everyone doesn't seem to know is that in the old days, when you played a video game like that, there was no map. So, how did you get your map for playing the game?
Through the manual, usually?
Nope, you made it with grid paper.
Huh. Oh, yeah!
Etrian Odyssey, being on the DS lineup of systems, well, you need a map for your dungeon. You're the explorer. Where are you going to get a map?
You make it yourself.
Yep. And
you essentially become the cartographer for that
you
area.
You make your own map in every one of those games. And it's like, oh, well, I just unlocked a new part of the dungeon because I came back. Cool. Add it to your map.
Ooh.
It's
interesting.
It's so good. They're like my favorite games. I started playing during the fourth game, the first one on 3DS. And I
And
went.
of course, now that the eShop's dead, you can't find them anymore unless it's for like
I got
200
lucky.
plus bucks from a trusted source.
That's why I got lucky and bought them all before the eShop closed. So I now only have to get the first 3 games in that franchise, which are admittedly the expensive ones that are on original DS. But
Yeah, the DS games in general have been hiking up in price ever since their eShop closed.
like as I pointed out, all of the games are expensive. They're ridiculous.
Yeah.
But let me pull up some of this art cuz this is why everyone loves the Etrian Odyssey art cuz they went, let's make it like waifus. It's one of the best. Look at it. Waifus and husbandos? Yes, please. Look at these characters.
Style actually looks cute in my opinion.
It is so beautiful and it looks amazing. Also, not the determined art for any of the characters. Because there are no actual characters. You just make the party. You, the person playing this game, are a person you never see. You're the party leader and everyone else is your party mate.
Interesting.
And you can pick whatever class you want. There's tons of them for your characters that are a part of your party. Because you're basically like a tactician. Like you were in Fire Emblem Awakening.
Yeah.
But the difference is you're not a person on the field. You are just who's playing. It had like beautiful combat mechanics, which is like who's being rear guard, who's being vanguard, who's being rear guard, and like determining how you came up to the bosses could change things. So like notoriously there was a boss in 4 which was this big bear that you fight in the first dungeon that you really go to, and it's brutal. It's super powerful in comparison to you, and when you go back to fight it, they give you a zone that's right behind the boss. There's a main section in which there's some other bears of the same type walking around that zone, and then there's this hallway that's connected by one zone that runs behind the bear. So the bear is on the one tile that connects these 2 rooms, but enemies can't walk through enemies. So if an enemy's on the map, like a big enemy would be, it can't walk through another enemy. So the reason that hallway is there is so that you can walk behind it and start the battle that way. Because the bear takes up both the vanguard and rear guard positions on its side of the field. Meaning, the other bears can't show up to help it.
Oh.
But if you start it from that big zone where the other bears are walking around, they can pincer you, and all of them can fight you at once.
What's good?
It's so good. And I've never had another game have that experience. So, back to games we're excited for. You mentioned Brain.
Tears of the Kingdom and Fire Emblem Engage.
Fire
Emblem Engage.
I'm excited for 2 other games, which I'm amazed you didn't announce. You didn't say one of those because I was expecting you to mention Fire Emblem in passing, because I was like, I know you're a big fan of that, and like I also know you're a big Zelda fan. The one that I was like, oh, I'm amazed she didn't mention that one, is Pikmin.
So, admittedly, while Pikmin is exciting, and I'm glad for the people who've been waiting for it since Pikmin 3 came out.
Which is several
I believe
years.
It's been I was about to say, I heard it had been about a decade.
It's
so
about
I'm
8,
definitely excited.
I think it's been about 8.
So I'm excited for the folks who've been waiting for it. I'm not a huge Pikmin person, admittedly. It's just that the gameplay doesn't appeal to me for the way that I like to play games. Yeah.
But you don't like throwing babies at your problems?
No.
Oh no, a bear is attacking me. Quick, honey, throw the baby. But honey,
Quick, honey,
we only
throw
have
the little things that you've.
But dear, we only have 50 of them. We'll be fine. The bear will be stopped.
Yes, let's throw the things that we've essentially been raising since they were little buds.
Oh, he's not even that good. Olimar picks him up out of the ground. They're fully grown. He goes, "You're good enough to fight, baby. Throw you at this giant T-Rex. Quick, punch the T-Rex harder for Daddy."
Yeah, that sounds like Olimar from what little gameplay I've seen.
Have you seen him in Smash Bros?
I have.
Hey, that's not far off. The other one.
Hey, I need you to fight from. Hey, I need you to fight for me real quick. I've just been birthed. Too bad. Yay!
I see this giant plant-like appendage on top of these babies. What is that for? It's for throwing them harder. I don't think that's what it's for. It is. I'm a space captain. Prove me wrong. It's like, I don't think that's what that is for at all. But so, back to topics of games that are coming out that I'm excited for, and you're excited for. I'm also excited for Bayo 3.
I've never played any of the Bayonetta series. So I'm
would you
interested
like a description of Bayonetta for the uninitiated?
Sure.
Sexy witch lady wants to sexy fight all the demons and angels that get in her way.
That's it. That's the recap.
The first game ends with a cool fight with Sexy God, which is a female. Don't ask questions. The second game is a betrayal by the demons that were partners with you. Time to go fight them. We don't know where the third one's going, but it's looking like it's going to be pretty much the same thing as the first two.
The third one's just like, yes, here is the apocalypse.
I actually think that's what the trailer was when it released. Is literally like Japan getting destroyed by these unknown monsters, which we presume are like more angels.
Yeah, because they mentioned it's just like, oh yeah, no, Bayonetta is just coming to the modern world and is now fighting these monsters that have started attacking everywhere.
She was always in the modern world at the time of every one of her games. But like she's in like a small Venetian town in like the first game, I want to say. And barely leaves that kind of like zone. But like it's modern day. She has a cell phone. It's not like it's like, oh my gosh, this is like totally foreign. It's like the 1700s. Like, no, she's walking around and there are like there's like Bentleys and stuff in the background. It's like she threw a moped at one of them. It's like, yeah, no. It's just like,
oh, that's just funny.
the new one looks like it's more realistic. It's like, that's Tokyo Tower. Instead of, oh, hey, look, it's the Tower of Babel in the background. It's like, one of those things is not something that we see on a daily basis.
One of these things is not like the other. One of these things does not belong.
Oh, well, no, see, that's the thing. It does belong. When you play the game, you go, that just doesn't look off in the skyline. But my brain says that shouldn't be there. Not because it doesn't belong, but because it feels like I just looked at a town after an earthquake, and there's no way that building survived that earthquake.
It's just like, how?
So, super excited for Bayo 3. Kind of excited for Pikmin 4. Wasn't a big Pikmin fan, but I'm like, yeah, you know what, I can be excited for this. The other one, Ragnarok. I'm so excited to watch playthroughs of Ragnarok, because I'm not going to play it.
Oh, yeah. I hadn't seen the state of play, but I've seen some clips of it. It looks really interesting.
So, the state of play released like a really cool story trailer, because we'd already had the first trailer and it was pretty good.
Yeah.
I've been in a GameStop since then. It's been playing nonstop, so it's like I know people have seen it. But
Can confirm.
the new trailer is so much better than that one. Hearing Tyr just call Kratos out for being a bad person is so funny. So, I assume you haven't seen the trailer, right?
Nope.
He basically Tyr is the Norse god of war, if you don't know. He literally starts that trailer off by going, "You don't know what it is to be a god. Have you ever been worshipped? Has anyone ever thanked you for your miracles? Has anyone ever prayed to you, ever?" And Kratos just doesn't respond in the trailer. I assume this conversation has been cut for the trailer, so there may be a response from Kratos. But it is hilarious, because it just makes it seem like Kratos is just introspectively thinking about this. Because, I'm going to be honest, having played or watched a lot of the God of War series for the most part, it's like, I know, like, he was respected and kind of, like, revered in Sparta, but it wasn't like he was God revered. It was more like, this is our great general who is now God. Yippee.
It's like, this dude's scary.
Not even that. It's more like, imagine if, like, you served in the military and then you found out that your general you're serving under also got to become God because he won this one fight. It's like, I respected you before this. Now I respect you more.
It's just like, well, oh damn. Okay. Anyways.
So I just looked down at my Audacity. I was reading it, and I was going across, and it says, disk space remaining for recording. You want to guess how many amount of minutes and such that I have for recording left?
Do I want to know?
I'm going to guess.
5?
307 hours and 16 minutes.
Yes, because we would totally be recording for that long.
Well, like, you know, my computer's 7 terabytes. I have wanted to upgrade it. Which, for those who are listening in, I did build it myself. It's a really nice computer. I got most of my parts during COVID, if you can believe it. The last part I needed that I couldn't get during COVID was my graphics card, which is a nice Radeon RX 6800 XT. It is a gigabyte model because I needed it for multiple HDMI and display ports. Really nice card. Super hyped for the new Radeon cards, by the way, that are coming out soon-ish. Maybe. We don't know. We just know they've been, like, announced. I think it's later this year they're supposed to come out.
For those of you who don't know, I'm just nodding my head as if I know what's going on, because I don't speak computer.
What you should have followed that up with is, yes, I agree, but, like, really robotic. So.
Yes, I agree. This looks fantastic.
There was another topic you wanted to discuss. You mentioned it at the top of the hour, because it's just been about an hour and 10 minutes since we started. What was the topic you wanted to discuss? You were worried about ranting, but I think we're pretty good at this point that we could discuss that.
Thank you for reminding me, because I had nearly forgotten. So, I want to discuss Splatoon.
Oh, yeah,
Specifically Splatoon 3.
So, for those watching, I never played any of the Splatoon games. They're really good games. My brother played them. I'm not good at shooters, so I never got into them.
I'm also not good at shooters. However, Splatoon's the one that I found that I can have fun while losing. So, I've played Splatoon 2 before this. I started maybe about a year ago, thanks to my friend.
Okay. Can I stop you right there? Real quick. On a rate of 1 to 10, what was your rating for Splatoon 2?
For Splatoon 2, probably about an 8, 8.5 feels good for me.
All right. Now what's your rating for Splatoon 3?
For Splatoon 3, Probably about a 9.
Okay,
9,
folks, you heard it here.
9.5.
She's telling you don't buy Splatoon 2, even if it's at a discount now that 3's out. Go buy 3.
3 is significantly better in my opinion.
All right,
Mostly
now we
because
now we
if
can
you're playing for
now you can continue to tell me all about the reasons you love Splatoon 3. That was just for the people who were going to leave immediately once we said what the rating for it was going to be. Which is hilarious because this is like a ramble cast, so I don't get why somebody would be watching that for our review of Splatoon 3 or any video games. But continue.
Indeed. So, for those of you who do not know, Splatoon 3 launched last week now.
Yeah, it was on
because
Thursday, right?
it was actually, well, it was Thursday, quote unquote, if you were in New York and you happened to be there at midnight.
I thought it was Wednesday at midnight was when the release for it was, and then it was going into Thursday. It was out, or was it Thursday night and it was going into Friday?
Thursday night going into Friday is what it was supposed to be. Now, for those of you who don't know, GameStop had most of their shipments delayed for all of their stores, so they did not get their pre-order
So,
copies.
for those who don't know, Pixie here, big insight into GameStop. She's worked at one for quite a while, so she does know what she is talking about. Would you like to tell them why the shipment for GameStop was delayed in a lot of places?
Admittedly, we have no clue. It was so delayed, in fact, that we ended up having to get an overnight express from FedEx in order to get our copies, and they still did not arrive by open for some stores.
So, I actually have some more info for you, because I talked with my good friend who is the manager for a certain GameStop. And he pointed out to me that those copies never showed up as far as I know.
Really?
Yep.
Interesting.
The only ones they had to sell in their store were ones from another store in town that got more than they needed.
That does sound about right, because on launch day, there was only one GameStop here in our town that had any of their copies.
For those who don't know, Joker, Pixie, and I all live relatively close to each other. We live in a small city more than a town. So we do know each other in person. It's not like we just decided, it's like, hey, I met this random guy online. Let's record a podcast together. We actually all know each other. We've hung out multiple times. Would love to do a podcast from us sitting around a table at like a fucking Olive Garden, but God, would that sound atrocious.
That really would, with all the background noise.
I love the slight lisp I got there because I had fucking spit all up in my fucking mouth.
Oh, joy.
Sexy for the ladies. And all you big boys out there, too. I feel like Joker would love that.
Joker would be cackling right now.
For those wondering why we're calling him that, if you just started listening, don't know why you'd be listening at this point, but, you know, to each their own, however you want to listen to a podcast, / whatever the fuck we're going to consider us talking about stupid shit to be. I'm thinking, actually, mentioning that, before I continue, Joker's name is the joke we're making this episode because he didn't want to actually give, like, a stage name or whatever, because, like, I'm giving a stage name, Pixie here is giving her stage name. By the way, did you want to talk about any, did you want to, like, self-promote? You know, not to sound bad.
Oh, good. There is one channel that is super niche that I have. If you're on Twitch, you may know me as Fairy of Light 10. That I also go by Pixie on there, and I sometimes stream. Again, super niche. I'm not sure a lot of folks would know that one, but yeah, just in case you recognize my voice.
So, I'll get you to send me a link. I'll put it in the description. For those wondering, yes, this is a stupid joke. We did decide to name. We did decide to do this as the first episode on what is more than likely, if we've done this properly, the channel should be named Two Idiots Play. And it's hilarious because the podcast has 3 people on it for the first episode. But so, by the way, discussing how I don't know if we're going to do this as like a podcast or whatever the hell we're going to consider this. I was thinking of actually doing like clips, because YouTube Shorts is a thing now, where it's like TikTok, but for YouTube. And like it's actually taking off apparently, so it's a really easy short form way to get content out. So I'm thinking
I have seen some YouTube shorts.
I might take that bit about us talking about the first bit of Splatoon, like with you giving your review for 3, and us making that joke of, you heard it here, folks, just go buy Splatoon 3. I might do that as a short, and like a few other clips.
Understandable. Honestly, that'd be kind of funny. Just have everyone.
I might just take that bit from the end of that fuck up we had earlier in the episode. That is gonna be cut for anyone wondering what it is. It's cut. It's gonna probably just cut in with us going, "Can you tell I fucked that up?"
You just have both me and Joker cackling in the background.
It's hilarious. Can you tell that when we're recording this, it's about 2 in the morning? So, we're great at fucking remembering to stay in character for...
Yes, especially with at least 2 of us having
ADHD. / mental health issues.
It's fun.
Because I got diagnosed with ADHD / ADD. Really... Whoever the fuck diagnosed me, I can't even remember at this point. That doctor did not know what the fuck was going on with me.
I was about to say, my doctors have never officially,
quote-unquote, they
diagnosed me with it.
And my parents had no fucking clue how to deal with it. They just went, the medicine helps, right? I'm like, no, not at all.
That's how it was with me. Though, like I said, I wasn't officially diagnosed, but they medicated it for me for it. It was super weird. But yeah, no, medicine didn't help me either. In fact, I had an allergic reaction to mine. That was great.
For any kids out there that might be watching, hey, why the fuck are you watching us? We're profane monsters. Did you not hear me talk about throwing babies at bears? This is a serious thing. I cannot believe you're watching this still. But also...
How dare you? Go to bed.
Also... well, they can watch it whatever time they want. It's on YouTube. So they could be watching this at 2 in the afternoon. Don't go to bed. We're jackasses. But still, watching that, if you're younger, or, you're crazy enough to sit here and believe what 2 people on the internet say, don't go off your meds because we said ours didn't work for us. You are an individual. You are an individual. Your scenarios differ from ours, probably entirely. Do not base your opinions on life off of our experiences in life.
Indeed. Do keep in mind that I was weaned off my medicine by my doctor to make sure that I was okay. So. And
I went cold turkey. Mainly because my parents were weird about it and tried to give me, like, other remedies that they were told would help with concentration and issues with, inability to pay attention to such things like classes and things like that, which, for some of you, your parents may do the same thing, and hey, it sucks, but, we all gotta live a life how we live life,
But yeah, no. Please, if you're able to, please consult your medical professional.
Yeah,
if you're able to speak to
talk,
one
talk to a
about
doctor.
Any treatments.
Not sponsored. BetterHelp, great thing. Like, if you need someone to talk to, suicide hotlines for those who need those, great. Like I had mental health issues with that. Let's move away from stuff like this. Not to downplay it, but especially because I don't want to, cause caused some issues for people in the first episode. Let's move back to Splatoon 3.
Splatoon,
For those wondering, yes, this is how you deal with your mental health problems. Just ignore them and go to the things you like. Like Splatoon 3!
Please do not follow anything advice on that.
What are you talking about? That is the healthiest way to deal with your problems. They don't exist. Only Monster Hunter for me. I don't have anger issues as I snap a Nintendo Switch over my knee because I lost a fight against an Ajarala. What are you talking about? Kind of shit. You know, it's totally fine. I have no idea what they're talking about.
So, Splatoon 3. I want to talk about story stuff. The story stuff has major spoilers, so I will not discuss story stuff. If you're interested,
here's what we do. Spoiler warning. Pixie here wants to say a few things she likes about the story. She's not going to go into details. I will put in the video upload. Now that we're starting this part of the spoiler portion of the podcast, I'll put a time link in there to skip to that zone for the end of the spoiler. How about that? That work for everyone?
Works.
All right. What are the things you're really excited for and you're really liking about the story so far?
So, I am loving the story. So, I've already beat the final boss. I will not discuss what the final boss is. However,
maybe
I do
first half of the game. I'd probably say that'd be a good cutoff point for anyone. That gives everyone that's not beaten the game yet but has started it, and they're like, okay, these are the things I can look forward to, right?
Yeah. So, if you're in the first half of the game, you're probably looking at Site 1 through 3. So, I do like it. For anyone who's played Splatoon 2, it plays like Octo Expansion. If you don't know, if you never got to play Octo Expansion, or you never played Splatoon 2 and you're jumping into Splatoon 3 for the first time, so what that means is you have multiple different sets of missions that you can choose from to start out with.
Yeah, and they all have different loadouts, right?
Correct. So each mission you are given usually multiple different weapons and loadouts to choose from.
And each loadout is themed around your objective as well, so as to keep the missions going smooth. Yeah.
Correct. So, say for one mission, you may be given a choice between, let's say it's a target mission. You may be given the option between a heavy splatling, which is exactly what it sounds like, a heavy Gatling gun, say it's either a splat charger or a classic squiffer, or a rapid blaster. And your mission is to destroy all of the targets within this amount of time. Otherwise say, well, it's funny actually, because within the time limit ones, or within the ones that have a certain objective, like don't touch enemy ink or anything like that, if you failed the mission, a literal beam of light shines down upon you, and just ink falls on you that just kills you immediately. It is not like Octo Expansion where you have a essentially twitching time bomb strapped to your backpack. No. It's just a ray from above.
It's God decided you lost. Goodbye. Try again next, God.
It is so funny. But yeah, so it's extremely interesting, and as you progress, you get power eggs, and you're able to clear different areas. That way you can access more missions. The first area is the area that you land in after your essentially tutorial area.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's super interesting, especially since the tutorial area, once you complete it, actually has a super nice surprise.
I assume you're gonna keep the
And you are
surprise hidden for fans to find.
indeed, especially if you haven't even started Splatoon 3 yet, or if you haven't been able,
Which, if
been
you
able
haven't
to buy.
started Splatoon 3, why are you still here, you motherfucker? We just
I don't
said we
know,
were
some people
starting
are
the
strange.
spoiler section like 10-15 minutes ago.
It is quite strange, but I wouldn't be surprised because I've been dumb enough to do that crap before. That being said, you are able to revisit Crater if you do believe that you've missed anything. Crater is what's the tutorial area is called. There are a couple things to look out for, a couple collectibles that you might want to put inside your locker, stuff like that.
Okay.
One of them is super cute in my opinion. I have it in my locker right now. But yeah, stuff like that is stuff that you should look out for. Be sure to investigate and follow your little buddy. If you don't follow your little buddy, you're missing out on stuff, especially if you're looking to 100% or even just find the sunken scrolls. He will help you find stuff. He's also super good about being able to destroy stuff like crates, balloons, which will give you more power eggs to clear more areas, stuff like that. It's super interesting. I won't spoil any of the bosses because they are huge spoilers.
So, I
But
got another question for you. Is that salmon mode coming back?
Salmon Run has already come back. In fact, it is 24/7 now.
Ooh,
So
that is
instead of just
interesting.
being on
Because
yeah,
I know it was like,
so
wasn't it
instead,
like only on like Sundays or something like that? It was like on one specific day of the week, and it was during a specific time.
so that's not quite it. So it would pop in for about 18 hours, I believe, give or take, per rotation, and then it would shut down for another, I believe, like 18-ish hours, and then it would reopen again with a new map and new weapons. Now it's 24/7. It still rotates what maps and what weapons you get.
Which
However,
is
you
weird
are
because
able to.
I feel like that should be just like on runs. It should just be like I do a run in map A and then it decides by like rolling the dice, are you in map A again or are you in map C, B, D, or E?
I kind of understand to an extent why they do it.
I
I
assume it's for
imagine for low,
I assume it's for server lag and such.
I imagine that's probably the case because it's also the reason why they have maps on set rotations. Of course, those are on shorter intervals where every 2 hours it changes what maps and modes are. Um, but I imagine it has something to do with that, and also for the sake of people being able to get their super bonuses, because your super bonus and stuff like that is tied to what here is tied to that set rotation, and it resets the new rotation, along with the possibility of you getting King Salmonid, which is one of the new features added, where you can get an extra wave, and this huge boss comes out, where you only get a set amount of time, and if you are able to beat it, you get extra bonus
You get
your
bonus
bonuses for
points, yeah.
defeating him. Yeah, you get bonus points, and you also get scales, which you can use for different cosmetics and stuff. You can use it for like your player tag or stuff in your locker, or even new uniforms. Do keep in mind you have to play this game for a while in order to get those rewards, because there are 3 tiers of scales that you get, and each scale goes towards a different reward. Uh, there's bronze scales, silver scales, and gold scales. And in order to get, and your chance of getting a King Salmonid is always on a chance rotation. However, you have a meter that can fill up, which will increase your chances of encountering said King Salmonid.
Okay.
I am also informed that they are bringing back Grisco weapons, which are these super high-powered and, in the lore, technically illegally modified weapons.
Oh, that sounds totally like Nintendo.
Yeah. This guy has super sketchy business practices.
Oh yeah, no.
But yeah,
I think I
it's
saw
funny.
something mentioned about him because he was coming back, right? He was a returning character that has been like aged up too.
All characters have been aged up, so the same amount of time that has passed between Splatoon 2's launch and Splatoon 3's launch is the same amount of time that's passed in that world.
All right. So, anything else you want to talk about for Splatoon 3 before we move on to, I guess, our final topic for today's episode?
Fair enough. The only other thing I will mention is, as much as they've hyped up the new weapons, the Splatana and the Tri-Stringer, I don't like them. So
Yeah,
there's
no,
two.
it's like a worse version of what was it? The roller. It was the splat roller.
So what it is the weapons are called the Tri-Stringer and the Splatana. The Splatana is modeled after, is basically a mix of a brush and a roller in terms of like how the flicks work.
Yeah, and then the tri shot is the bow, right?
Yeah, the Tri-Stringer is the bow, and it's essentially also meant to be like a version of the splat roller in terms of how your shots work, either horizontally or vertically.
But it's also like a mix of the base gun with that, right? Where it's like
it's like
where it's
charger.
Okay, yeah, no. Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, because you have to charge up your shots, and the further it's charged, obviously, the further they shoot, and also you get explosive ammo with it. I don't like either of them, and there are two variants of them as well. The Tri-Stringer gets the Reflux, which does not get explosive ammo, but I believe it's supposed to shoot further, if I recall correctly. And then there's the...
Which the problem with these,
Stamper.
for people who've never played a game like Splatoon, would you like to explain what the objective of Splatoon is?
So, there are 5 different modes technically for competitive purposes. The main mode is Turf War. That one is always running. That's the one that you'll find most folks playing. That's the one where you'll usually level up, and you'll have a mix of the newbies with the older players. The other 4 are called Flat Zones, Tower Control, Rainmaker, and Clan Blitz. Now, the main one you're playing Turf War, your goal is to ink your turf. So you're trying to get the most turf as possible.
But like from what I remember,
Yeah.
even the other non-turf war modes are not kill based, right?
Correct. No,
For
no
those
objective is
listening
truly
in,
kill based.
So for those listening in, the reason the new weapons are not as good, as I'm understanding in your opinion, Pixie, is for the main fact that these are weapons for a normal shooter where kills matter.
Correct.
Which is kind of a problem.
That's how it is.
So
yeah, so that's pretty much how it is. So if you're playing Turf War, they don't ink a lot of turf.
So
at all.
what it sounds
Even the
like is
upgraded
these are good weapons for like Salmon Run and maybe the single player.
Yeah, Salmon Run, and even with single player, I don't like Tri-Stringer at all. Even for the missions that specifically say, hey, this weapon is recommended, I ended up switching to a different weapon because it was so annoying to deal with, in my opinion. The Splatana isn't as bad. I could tolerate it most of the time. However, even when you're not playing single player, if you're playing something like Salmon Run, the two of them are fine. Tri-Stringer, however, has low ink coverage, but it's also really hard to get a kill with. So
it sounds like
super annoying.
It sounds like it's a weapon that you need like heavy team support to use.
It is. And the issue is because of the way that Salmon Run works, you are constantly trying to kill bosses. And there are usually multiple bosses there at a
Yeah,
time
because
that you need to be taking out.
it's like Call of Duty Zombies, right? It's swarms of enemies with big
Yes.
enemies in the mix-up, which means that you need to cover as much of the map as possible. So teammates can't be right next to you to give you the coverage you need while using this weapon.
Correct. Which is a huge issue. Splatana has slightly less of that issue, especially if you're using the stamper version of it, because the stamper version is a lot more powerful, but it still doesn't ink as much. And I believe it charges slower for its more powerful flick. Um, However, it is easier to take out bosses with. Tri-Stringer and Reflex, in my opinion, are not good weapons to use for Salmon Run because, again, they don't kill that easily. And like was mentioned with even the non-turf war modes, so that'd be Splat Zones, Tower Control, Clan Blitz, and Rainmaker. If you here, so typically in competitive, you typically have your backliner, your slayer, and your two who are attempting to push objective normally.
Yeah.
This lineup can change depending, but your backliner will usually be your support person. But Tri-Stringer is not good for backlining because you usually actually have to be pretty close. Um, well, you can be close. It's more like mid-range,
Yeah,
which isn't great for the fact that you have to charge things
it's
in order to get the
it's
more powerful ammo.
it is a worse sniper rifle than what is basically the sniper rifle in the game.
Correct. I was about to say, if you want to use a tri-stringer, in my opinion, just go for a classic Squiffer or something, or even Bamboozler if you don't want to have to hold the charge and you like being more mid-range. Bamboozler would be perfect for you. Tri-stringer, I cannot recommend. Not and in my personal opinion, Reflux is worse than Tri-Stringer because, like I said, you don't get the explosive ammo. So even if you don't kill the enemy, at least the explosive ammo could kill the enemy. You don't get that with
Yeah.
Reflux. Splatana is slightly better if you already know how to play brush. If you already know
Or
how
if you
to
know how to
play
play like
brush,
roller or something like that, right? Because it's a melee weapon in like a gunner weapon game.
yeah, pretty much. So basically, if you already know the fundamentals of those, you can play Splatana. Splatana probably has about the same kill rate as regular Ink Brush versus Octobrush. Stamper, I would compare more to the Octobrush. That would probably be better, but you would have to be a Slayer more likely to not, which means you have to specialize it. I do not see you pushing objective, especially if you're playing Splat Zones.
Yeah, because they're not as versatile as the roller, right? Because the roller was, for those who don't know, who didn't play like the first Splatoon or see any of it, the roller had the ability to flick small amounts of paint in one way, but its big mechanic was that it was a roller, so you just go forward, and anyone that was in front of you immediately got rolled over by the roller and would immediately be one killed. It was an immediate kill.
With most rollers, yes. The exception was Carbon Roller, but it was faster as the trade-off. So
Yeah.
you would
But,
have to
like-
hit a person twice in order to roll them over, but you were faster and you can still slam down and still one-shot kill them.
But for those wondering, the downside with the roller was that you had no range because it was a melee weapon. But because it was pretty much a one-hit kill to two-hit kill, it was pretty much the best weapon for charging an enemy and then just running through. However, it ate through paint like nobody's business, and it was very obvious that it was not really made for like fighting. It was there for covering the most amount of zone in a turf war, because for the most part that was what Splatoon 1's gameplay was turf wars. There weren't like a bunch of, there was like 3 game modes. I think it was that and Rainmaker and defend the position or whatever.
I think that'd be either Splat Zones or Tower Control in that case. I think it was Tower Control actually.
I can't
But I'm
remember.
not entirely sure because I didn't play Splat 1. That being said, our friend M here is correct. I lost my train of thought.
We were talking about the Splatana,
Okay.
and that's why I said I brought up the roller to specifically say the problem was that they introduced new melee weapons, but they're combat weapons, which is it doesn't work because that's not the main goal of the game. So
Yeah, with Tri-Stringer, I can't even recommend it as a Slayer weapon. Splatana, probably, because like I said, he definitely wouldn't be pushing an objective, except maybe with Tower Control, because I can't see you getting much use out of it with Clamblitz.
because
Splat.
it doesn't cover area like the roller did. It's like a paintbrush.
Correct. Splat zones, you definitely can't use it because it won't cover the the zone soon enough in order to take it back in control. At that point, just use a roller. And with Rainmaker, again, I can see it as a Slayer weapon, but you won't be pushing Rainmaker, more likely than not, because Rainmaker is typically for the people who are using either the Swatlings or the Chargers, because you already have a crap ton of run speed up on. But yeah, that was my thing with them. Like I said, Tri-Stringer, I can't even recommend as a Slayer weapon. I can't recommend it as a turfing weapon. Again, the only game mode that I could see possibly using it on would be Tower Control, and that'd be guarding the tower from atop of it. Which, if you play Tower Control, you know you're not going to be on it as often as you would think, because usually you're getting splatted. Because someone throws a suction bomb and they kill you. So yeah, that was my gripe with them.
And now, on to our final topic. My main topic for today's episode. Our good and delicious opinions on why we all hate the company Adobe. Would you like to start us off?
Oh God, where to begin with Adobe?
For those who don't know,
Adobe.
Real quick, I'll do a little rundown before we start our demolishing of hell. Adobe is well known for their products Photoshop, Lightroom. I forget what their audio one is now because I think it got rolled up into like a whole thing. I don't even know if it still exists. They have After Effects.
After Effects. Yep.
They have After Effects. They have Premiere. They have a web design one still, I think. They have Acrobat. You probably have heard of that one. They used to do Flash. For those who don't know what Flash was, it was basically the internet. And they decided to no longer support it, which was fine.
If you don't know what Flash is, I'm going to feel old.
Well, they were getting rid of it back in 2018. So, like, I know for a fact my brothers probably don't know what Flash was at a point because they were born in 2005 for one of them and such. So it's like they're old enough now at this point that Adobe's Flash was well outside their range at that time. It would have been stuff like Go Animate and HTML animations and stuff like that. The embeds would be different. It was mostly the older stuff from the early 2000s that still use Flash that, like, I remember, like, the MS Paint Adventure site used Flash for its last comic, which was Homestuck. Newgrounds used it for a lot. Newgrounds used it a lot for their games and their animations.
I remember Pop Tropica used it for a while, and they had to move to a mobile-based site because of the fact that Flash shut down, and that was what was running it, and Pop Tropica was no longer supported.
Yeah, And so, notoriously, it wasn't the fact that Adobe said they weren't going to support it anymore. It was that immediately following that, almost every single one of the internet browsers, so Google Chrome, Internet Explorer, Firefox, anything that you would use to surf the internet, all immediately said, okay, we're no longer going to add that extension in permanently. You have to add that in yourself. And some of them, in this case, like Chrome, for sure said, oh, we're completely shutting it off. You can't use it. So you had to purposely reset it with like a special thing that you had to do to overwrite their ability to turn it off. And even then, it didn't work half the time. So a lot of those groups said, okay, well, here's just a download to Adobe Flash Player. But then Adobe went through and just said, we're now sending out a system-wide notification, probably about last year, the year before, that just said, no, Flash Player now, if you have a download, once it hits our servers, which it was required to do for it to work, it now is completely bricked. You can't use it. It now just says Flash Player doesn't exist. So even if you had a old school copy of it, you couldn't use it to play any of those videos. You couldn't use it to play the games that were saved in it. So pretty much there are no retro collections of some of those games. They don't exist anymore. They are lost media.
Yeah, no. If you were a kid growing up in like probably early to mid 2000s, you would probably as far as like 2010 probably would be 2010 to like 2015-ish, I would say. Does that sound about right to you?
I'd probably say like 2014, yeah. For any of you
Yeah.
who are younger and don't remember much from that time, I can put it like this. Any of you playing Friday Night Funkin' or who are fans of that, if you remember the Christmas song list, that is like, I think it's like week 5. All the characters you see in the background are either an animator who used Flash in the early days, or was a person who made Flash games, or it's one of their characters from one of those Flash animations or Flash games. The guy Tankman from week, I think it was 7 of Friday Night Funkin', that's a guy from Flash. That's one of the characters from a series called Tankman. Don't watch that if you're too young. Please.
We beg.
The character from week 3, which is Pico, that is a character from a Flash game. Just all the things. If you're young enough and they were playing it on the radio, that song Ultimate Showdown, that was a song that was written by a guy named Neil Cicierega. He wrote it, sang it, and then made an animation for it in Flash, which he uploaded to Newgrounds, which is now no longer viewable on there. So you have to watch a compressed version on YouTube. Pretty much stuff like that. So you can kind of tell Adobe's not really the greatest kind of company at this point. But then you get on to their other products. Their other products were pretty well-known products. Photoshop, Premiere, After Effects. They're what is called industry standard. For those who are wondering why I said it weird like that, I was doing air quotes, but you can't see those, so I want to verify and explain. They were industry standard, which just means everyone used them because they were pretty much the only thing you would use.
Even though there are better programs that exist out there, however, they are less well known.
We will get into that in just a bit. At the time when Adobe released what is called the Creative Suite 6, which was its product lineup. This, by the way, was released in 2012, I think, meaning it has been 10 years. Creative Suite 6 was the last of the Creative Suites, what Creative Suite 6 did was start with all of the modern iterations of Adobe products. Adobe in about, what was it, 2016, 2017? Does that sound about right?
I believe so. Yeah, because I was in high school at the time doing film class, and that's about the time that they started updating it.
So in about 2016, 2017, maybe a little later, they decided that they were not going to make a new version of any of their products. Instead, they were going to move to a model in which all those products would be updated. Now, Adobe products are expensive. Even the Creative Suite was expensive. They were all like $200 programs, and the Creative Suite itself was like, I think, $400 or $500.
Keep in mind, I believe these are all subscription based.
No, at the time they were, you bought them. It was $500.
That's right.
You owned the program. You owned everything in the Creative Suite. In about 2017, 2018, 2016, somewhere around there, they decided they were moving away from that model and they were not going to make a new version of any of their products. Instead, they were going to continuously update them and charge you yearly for them. Now, at first, that doesn't sound too bad until you realize that the prices they were charging is the same price as buying the full program literally a year ahead of time. Also, if you owned any of the versions from the Creative Suite, you did not get any of the updates at all, but you still owned your copy. They could not take it away, so if you still have a code for a Creative Suite thing, you still own that product. However, this is where it starts to get crazy. There are still Creative Suite codes online to this day. You can still buy them. They're still expensive, but that is the only way some people buy their Adobe products in what is ostensibly half a decade old products. The modern iterations are so expensive that a lot of people do not care for Adobe for them. To put it in perspective, a yearly subscription to all of them is $570 something, I think.
Which is absolutely absurd.
Because the new product, by the way, is not the Creative Suite, it's the Creative Cloud. Which, for those wondering, what you're paying for is the cloud service, which should mean that you should be able to buy the product itself. Let's see what.
But no.
Let's see what it is.
Do keep in mind, even schools have had issues with.
Oh, I will get into that in a bit. So, for just the photography plan, which gives you 1 terabyte of cloud storage, by the way, $19.99 a month. For the Creative Cloud all apps, it's $54.99 a month. For Acrobat Pro, which you don't need, for those wondering, Acrobat is free. Pro is literally just the exact same app, but you're paying for it, is $19.99, the same as the photography, which, for those wondering, photography's bundle, which comes with 1 terabyte of storage, gains Lightroom and Photoshop on any of your apps. So you can use the version on your iPad or your Android device, or you can use the desktop version of that. However, what really is a spit in the face is when you go to the single individual apps, because those are your plans: photography or Creative Cloud all apps, meaning you buy all of them. If you want to buy just the apps you need, so let's say you are someone working on base animations or digital design and you want to record your process and edit it, you need Photoshop, Premiere Pro, and maybe Illustrator, right? Those are each $20.99 each a month. There is no bundle for all of those together, and if you wanted to add anything like motion graphics or visual effects into it, that includes After Effects, which you also need to pay $29.99 a month. $20.99 a month. There's InDesign, $20.99 a month. Lightroom by itself is $9.99. Adobe Express is $9.99 a month by itself. Audition, Animate, all of those are $20.99 a month. If you get the Substance 3D Collection, which is literally basically one app that they split amongst 6 of them to do 3D modeling and using that. So it's to model, texture, and then render it all. So, the thing Blender does, but for free. Would you like to guess how much that costs, Pixie?
Do I want to guess, or am I going to shake my head even more than I already have been for the past about 2 minutes that you've been listing this?
Oh, we're in the individual's price. We haven't even got to business, students and teachers, or schools and university.
Should I guess and say it's probably, well, if it's split amongst 3 apps, you said it was $20.99 for
6 apps.
6?
Yes,
That's
because they have a smaller version called Substance 3D Texturing, which is taking all of those only the texturing features and splitting it amongst 3 apps.
This sounds stupid as hell. I can't wait to hear the stupid as hell price.
It is $49.99. Literally, it is $5 less than having all of the apps.
Gee, I wonder what you're more incentivized to get.
Buying Adobe XD.
Though
Buying Adobe XD, which is basically, for those who don't know, it's CAD, but worse, is $9.99 a month. InCopy. Do you want to know what InCopy is?
Do I actually want to know, or is this one of those things where I'm just going to get more annoyed?
The price is nothing. It's $4.99 a month. It's fucking Word. Makes text edits and layout modifications without impacting designs. Adobe Stock access millions of high-quality, royalty-free assets for your next creative project. $29.99. Dreamweaver.
So,
Design and
Shutterstock.
It is literally Shutterstock, and they literally charge you $30 a month for it. Dreamweaver. Design and develop modern and responsive websites. $20.99.
Squarespace.
But more expensive. Now, for those wondering, for a business, you get the all apps or single apps per license, which is still monthly charges, by the way. The best deal, as they love to point out, is the Creative Cloud's all app. By the way, there is no price variation in the business class for any of the apps. So even if you just needed, say, as we pointed out, Lightroom, which is literally just an editing and organizing software for photos, it's less intuitive and well formatted Photoshop. And it was, $9.99 in comparison to Photoshop's $20.99. All single apps in business class are $35.99 a month per person.
Per person?
Yes, because you get one license. Because for business, you're buying in bulk.
Yeah.
But you don't get to change that price based on the app. Creative Cloud
What's
all apps is $84.99 a month per person. Notice I didn't say they have special versions of the apps for business, because the idea would be that it's a business and therefore it's making money and therefore that would make more sense. What about students and teachers? My favorite is students and teachers save over 60%. So what they do is they mark out the actual price of it of $54.99 a month, which is the base price in individuals, and mark it down to $19.99. What they don't mention is students and teachers are people in a set plan, available for qualified and students and teachers only. How to check your eligibility is to get a code from your teacher or your school. But that's not all. They also have school and universities. How well is that? Oh, it's not nearly as good as the student and teachers plan, because you have per named user, which comes with Creative Cloud All Apps, which is $34.99, or a single app, which is $14.99.
To put it in perspective, this program annoyed the absolute hell out of me when I was in film class, by the way, because it would constantly crash while you were trying to edit stuff.
Per a shared device for classroom and labs, Creative Cloud All Apps, $330 a year. That's the only plan on that. For a per device, because it's for a classroom and a lab. Per student pack, Creative Cloud for the entire year, $142 a year. Pretty reasonable. Institution-wide licenses, you gotta call them.
It's so expensive that they don't want to tell you on the website.
Well, because the idea is that they're gonna make like $200,000 off this. Because if you're doing it institution-wide, which implies for universities, because they're probably not thinking for schools. That's like 100+ licenses. Even if they charge you like $10 for 100 license, that's $1,000 they're making a month.
And that's assuming that they bring down their prices for the fact that you're buying in bulk, which they will not.
So not only are they ridiculously expensive for those listening in still, they're also not that great of products. They're pretty much standard, which sounds like it's like, oh my gosh, that means that I need them because they're the industry standard, right? Not really. There are alternatives to them that are less talked about. So instead of using Photoshop, use GIMP and other optional systems. I use Krita, both of which are free. GIMP and Krita are free. They're both great for making digital art, perfectly usable. There are tons of free art programs to replace Photoshop and Lightroom and stuff like that. For photo editing, too, you can do things like that. Look for them. Instead of Audition, which is their sound editing one. That was the one I was trying to remember. Audacity, OBS. Just don't go to Adobe for stuff like that. Definitely don't go to them for 3D, as you heard. CAD's cheaper. And CAD's fucking expensive. I fucking hate how expensive that is from Autodesk and stuff. But even they're more reasonable about it. Which, if anyone from Autodesk is listening in, do not take that as admission that I want your product. It's way too expensive. I'm not rewarding you and saying, wow, good job. I'm more saying you could have done worse. But there's also FreeCAD for those wondering what CAD means. It means computer assisted design. That's like if you wanted to design 3D prints, that's what you'd use. But you can also use free softwares like FreeCAD instead of using like Autodesk and stuff like that. But there's also like for CG work and 3D animation and such, there's Blender, and then there's all of their programs that work that like there are other programs that you would pay for like and that have licensing agreements like that, like Adobe's. But the fact of the matter is that Adobe hails itself as both an industry standard which gets to perform those license agreements like that, but also as like this is an institutional learning tool, a base program for little Timmy to use as his first piece of software for learning digital art or video editing or anything like that, which is just not the case.
Keep in mind they're usually more. I was about to say, keep in mind they're usually more complicated than other programs that are also just as easy to access.
For those wondering, I am using Audacity, Krita, GIMP, and my video editing software of choice, which does have a more high-end version that you can pay for, is DaVinci Resolve. Great option. I basically have free reign over the things I need. It makes it very easy for me. It makes it very easy for most of the people that I work with. It's not like the file types are suddenly different types and I can't use them properly. And so not only does Adobe like really not help out with their programs being so expensive and not user friendly, but when pointed out that their argument for their licensing system is really stupid and garbage, they have at all times spit in the face of the consumer about it. So notoriously, not only are there other companies that do the licensing plan that they do, so like if you've never heard of them, Filmora does it as well, but Filmora has a I can buy the product in full alongside having the licensing, and the licensing just allows for you to continue to have the software update after a certain number, because it's numbered for each one. They still number theirs, and as you continue on, they go, well, once the end of your numbered edition that you bought is up, you're not going to keep paying, we're not going to keep giving you updates for it. But it's just like, Adobe's is only that, and they assume you should always pay them for this, even if you weren't going to use any of those updates. Anything you'd like to put in, Pixie?
Particularly, it's just don't. Even when I was looking for looking online for places that are like, hey, where can I start out with, say, because I wanted to start out with digital art. Literally every single site that was an actual person writing it and not a business pointing out, it's like, yeah, no, I found places that were much better than Adobe in terms of programs that I need. And usually they're more accessible and also more user friendly and also won't mess with your files.
So a lot of people out there may be listening to this and going, well, what's the big deal? So what? It costs money. You got to think about it as a person who, say, doesn't have like a ton of money. They have a severe disadvantage to you in this case. They have no way to buy Adobe products. So the free options being any good is important to them. And having options that are cheaper and more affordable allows for us to change the industry, which is just something that should at all times be what we focus on as a society. I'd definitely love to see more people joining the animation industry or the digital design industry or the music industry or any of that. But because of how bad the death grip is of like Adobe and these big old hat corporations that own most of the stuff, I doubt I will see that within my lifetime. Would you agree with that statement?
I would also agree with that statement because it's so difficult for younger artists to, if they don't have the resources to be able to find, it's just like, what would be good products for me, you know, they may see Adobe, as, this huge heralded thing by everyone, from people
It's
who
a
do
household
videos.
name. It's been around for decades.
Yes,
You hear
age isn't.
it. It's not called photo editing. It's photoshopping.
Yeah, photoshopping is literally the term that most folks
It's not.
use.
There is no Windows Movie Maker anymore. It's, did you do this in Premiere Pro, or I forget what the iMac version of video editing was.
iMovie.
Thank you. No, but like their nice one.
Their nice one? I have no clue what their nice one
I
is.
forget too, but like it's, did you do it in Premiere or Apple's proprietary, exclusively for Apple video editing software is? And it's like, there are other options. And like that's the thing.
But most folks don't know that.
I'm at least happy that like things like Filmora are starting to catch on. Not to get off topic, but I'm gonna bring up something. I watch a channel called Drawfee, and Drawfee does digital art content. And this is not a call out to them or anyone in particular, but what I wouldn't give to see an entire episode of Drawfee or content from like Rubber Ross or Jane Animations or one of those groups that doesn't use any Adobe products in it would be interesting. You know, move away from the expensive high-end tools and go to something like Krita or GIMP and just do all your stuff in that. And like, I know a lot of people will be like, but that's stupid. They already have the ability to use those products. It's like, I know, but showing what you
Just
can,
for comparison's sake.
even not even that. Like, how do I put this? Like for someone from a rough neighborhood or someone who doesn't have the money to buy those, seeing somebody that they watch using those for doing something amazing, like making a piece of art that looks beautiful, it's like, oh, so it's not the tools, it's I can do that too. I don't need to have money to do this. I can do it on a shoestring budget. And it's the reason why I'm like, I don't want to pay large exorbitant amounts of money to make my content here on YouTube or anywhere else with you guys. It's like, I want to do this almost guerrilla, like old school movies and stuff. It's like, I'm not paying to get access to this land. I'm gonna shoot it in my backyard, fix it up with green screen and effects that I can do on a nothing budget, make my own costumes, make my own like monsters and stuff like that. You know, that sort of thing.
Oh, and I will point out one more thing. If you've ever watched a YouTuber or someone who just does normal video editing, if you've ever watched their process and they use Adobe, because I've noticed this with a few YouTubers that I watch where they show their editing process from the time to time, you will always hear them complain about Adobe. Adobe constantly is messing with folks. I've had YouTubers whose portions of videos would get completely corrupted by the fact that not the audio, but the video itself would just end up corrupting and pixelating, and they will literally have to put it there. It's just like, hey, I didn't notice this until afterwards that Adobe did this,
And for
I
those
have no way
wondering,
to
going,
fix
oh
it.
well, it might be the camera or anything like that. Adobe notoriously re-alters the base file when it tries to edit it at times. So when it tries to pull in the render, if something is wrong, it can cause more corruption to a file that may have already been corrupt. So it's not necessarily that you were like, it's like the camera may have had a problem ahead of time. That video file may have already been slightly corrupted, but just
Adobe will
putting
worsen it.
just putting it into Premiere actively causes more problems.
Yep. And even like say you're not editing from like a camera, say you're editing from like a capture card
Or
or
anything
something.
it can be digital. For any of those wondering, it's like if your sound is off by a minute, you basically have to reset all this stuff, and it can cause so many issues. And that's not to say that no other video editing product can just not have those problems. Like, just to put it in perspective, Sony Vegas, notoriously constantly crashing. Since they moved it over to, I forget what the company is, it has gotten just 10 times worse with the crashing. But just because other products also have flaws does not mean that Adobe is above being called out on that. And that's what I
I was
want.
about to say,
Think critically about the companies that you're willing to buy from. Don't just go, well, my favorite YouTuber uses this, so that must mean that they're great.
whataboutism is not a valid argument. Just because one product does it does not make the other immune from it.
Same reason of don't buy something just because your favorite YouTuber does. It's the same thing that your mom always told you when you were a kid. If your friend jumped off a cliff, would you jump off too? It's the same concept.
Don't buy it just because it's on TV. Do your own research.
Decide if it's something viable for you. More often, by the way, if you're in high school, you shouldn't be paying for any of this. Your parents shouldn't be paying for any of this. Use the free tools while you can. They're so viable. And I know some of you will say, well, things like Clip Studio Paint, or Clip Paint Studio, which is this really nice program. It's $200, and you can own it all for the first version, at least. Because they're now moving to their own Adobe-like procedure, which a lot of people are pissed about. Having
oh joy!
whole can of worms. Like, it's a really big deal. But never mind that. A lot of people are like, oh, but it has so many ease of access tools. It's like, ease of access is great, and I love that. And I wish some of the free options had some of those ease of access things as well. But sometimes those just aren't an option. Just because something has ease of access does not mean that you need to immediately say that the free option that may not have those is it's not worth it.
Weigh the pros and cons. What is a better value in your opinion? Obviously, we're not saying that you shouldn't buy these products. We're saying based
that
off
you
of
should
what
think
your
about
needs
them.
are.
You should think about it.
Yeah.
You should not just don't take my opinion. Don't take Pixie's opinion. Don't take Markiplier, Jacksepticeye. Don't take Smosh, wherever the hell they are now. Don't take Anthony Padilla's opinion. Don't take PewDiePie's opinion. Don't take Pyrocynical. Pixie, you got any more?
If you're a fan of Nintendo, don't take Date Pods or Failboat's opinion. Date Pods is more of a headset YouTuber, but still.
Don't take Tyler Ninja Blevins' opinion. Don't take Jimmy Here's opinion. Don't just take somebody else's opinion and make your decision based off that. Look into it yourself. Notoriously, if you are underage, get an adult. I know that sounds like we're saying you can't make a decision on your own. That's not it. I know it may seem like your parents are idiots. Trust me, I know.
Sometimes they are, but that's besides the point.
And they will never admit it. Don't worry, we know. Both of us are adults, and we know my mom is always right, uh, even when she's wrong. But an adult will have a perspective that is outside yours as you are right now, and they may point out things that you don't think about that will help you in the long run. I'm gonna be honest.
Especially,
I wish as a teenager my parents had helped me think about what I actually needed when doing digital art. Because notoriously, I wasted a lot of their money and a lot of my own money on my pursuit of learning digital art, which, well, I'm not the greatest at. I'll be honest. I feel like I can improve at every point. Had I probably taken more of their opinions into account while I was a teenager, I probably would have changed what I bought or wasted my money on.
and do keep in mind, you can get multiples of people's opinion, especially if they're people who work within what you're looking at. Other friends who may also be working
So,
in,
uh,
who may also
perfect
be in digital
example.
art or
Perfect
filmmaking.
example. Despite us saying don't just take Markiplier or whatever your favorite YouTuber or Twitch streamer's opinion is, that doesn't mean don't listen to them. It just means
Because they do have experience.
exactly. It's listen to what they're saying and think about it critically. Always think about it yourself. If Joker was still here, he would probably agree with us. He would probably say, yeah, no, I don't use just any brand of paper that somebody tells me about. I look up reviews of it. I try and decide what would be best for the type of art I'm making. All that sort of things. Same thing that you do there. Same thing you need to do with your digital programs.
And do keep in mind as well, you can also take into account whatever biases they may have. Do they have an affiliate code? Is this a product that was sent to them? You know, stuff like that.
Yeah,
That's
because
also good
a
things to
lot
keep
of
in mind.
I understand a lot of you are probably in high school, or some of you maybe even in your 20s, and you're watching this just to feel young again. Um, I mean, I know I would do that, not to self promote, but yeah, I would totally watch this to feel younger again because it makes me feel like I'm listening to two people who are definitely older than me sit there and talk about their problems, which is exactly what I needed when I was in high school. Um, but especially some of these people like YouTubers, they get some of these products for free. They get the video games that they play for free. They get some of their art programs for free because somebody wants them to show how good they are. I know for a fact I watch a YouTuber who I believe her YouTube channel now is SNK, and
I believe I've heard of her.
She's a Sonic YouTuber. She does a lot of Sonic fan art and stuff, and she was sent
Ooh.
two tablets. And I actually have the same type of one of the tablets that she was sent. I'm not going to say which one, doesn't matter. I'm not even going to say if it was the one she recommended over the other or not, or anything like that. And I made my decision after looking at pricing and ease of use and what I would be using it for. And that's how I made my decision on whether I wanted to buy that tablet or not for doing my digital art. Not because I wanted a tablet. And for those wondering, the options I had were either this or going to something like a Galmon, because I have a screen tablet, not a drawing pad. For those who don't know, those are it's basically like a mouse pad with a stylus.
Yep.
Which are way cheaper.
Which that was the kind that I had.
I had one. It actually is a Wacom. So same brand, same company that does the the fuck, now I can't think of the name. The Pixie, can you help me?
I would not know. I'm going to be honest.
I'm trying to think of it. Fill the dead air while I think about it, if you don't mind. While I look this
You're
up.
all good.
While I look this up.
I will
Cintiq.
say I also. Okay, yes, that one.
Yeah, you know, the tablets that can reach like $3,000.
Yeah, they're expensive.
So for those wondering, my tablet costs about $300. The Cintiq variant of about an equivalent to this tablet is like $600. This is a 1080p screen, which sounds really rough, right? I know some of you high schoolers are like, but we do 4K art now. With the screen still being 1080, I can do 4K art on it.
I was about to say, not to mention, a lot of screens can't run 4K right now, so you don't need 4K.
Well,
if that's what you're looking to do.
We're getting a little closer to that 4K like adherence now.
This is quite true, but it's still quite expensive and not quite accessible. And let's be honest, 1080p still looks good.
Yeah, no.
You don't need 4K.
So for anyone, just think about your purchases beforehand. I think that's where I want to end it for this point in the podcast / whatever we're calling this project. We'll call it the.
I would also agree.
I think we call it the undetermined project type. Yeah.
That sounds good. I like it. It sounds mysterious.
Well, I actually thought of that because I watch Adam Savage's content, more specifically his series of stuff on his channel, Tested.
Oh, yeah.
And he just hilariously just named his podcast the Untitled Adam Savage Project. And it's great.
Yeah, I'd seen that. I still need to watch that one.
Oh, it's like hundreds of episodes long at this point.
Yes, I know. Trust me, I only just discovered this, and I'm just like, do I torture myself, or do I just start from whatever
like
the
some
latest
of those episodes
is?
are like 3 hours long, like, which we're getting up there. We're about at 2.5, so we probably need to start cutting ourselves off for the night.
Probably.
/ whenever the hell you guys are watching this, but for us, it's about 4 a.m.
Yeah, and I have to wake up here in about 6 hours, so it's probably best to start cutting it down.
Do you have to wake up?
I did promise a family member that I would come hang out with her.
Okay. I was saying, like, don't go revealing a bunch of stuff. We are still recording, and I don't want to have more to cut out. I've still got, like, 2 things to cut out at, like, minute 15 and, like, I think it was minute 40.
Oh, no, I'm not crazy enough to reveal personal information online. I've been good enough about that so far. I'm not starting now.
But so, I think that's where I want to end my topic. Anything else you want to add, Pixie?
I believe I'm good.
Oh, I didn't mean about the topic. I just meant in general, like a Twitter or anything you wanted to refer back to. I know you mentioned your Twitch earlier.
Nope. I think my Twitch is good. Very of late 10, in case you guys want to follow me. I do gaming content. Usually it's Slime Rancher.
Oh, God. I haven't played Slime Rancher in forever. I want to play that again.
Slime Rancher 2's coming out.
I know, and I'm sad, though, because it does. I don't know if it looks better than Slime Rancher 1.
It does in my opinion, but I'm biased because I like butterflies. I'm just upset, though, because it's not coming to PlayStation. It's only Xbox and Steam right now.
I mean, the first Slime Rancher was Steam for a while before it came to consoles.
I know, but I'm sad because again, I have a crappy little HP laptop right now that can't really run Slime Rancher 1, let alone Slime Rancher 2.
So that'll actually probably our first thing is we're hoping to get this project off the ground. Our first thing we want to do is try and build up a nice fan base of it. I'm planning to start my own YouTube and start uploading like the process I do for my digital art. Maybe make a new Twitter and stuff for uploading art and stuff for people to come look at. Uh, Pixie, anything like that you're gonna maybe plan on doing?
I'm just trying to build up my Twitch right now. I'm close enough to partner. I just need to actually stream long enough in order to do so. But because I work 2 jobs, that's
Yeah,
kind of hard.
and to clarify why we're bringing this up is we really want to, all three of us, Joker included, are really trying to see about using this as maybe a second form of income or just something to do. We really want to move away from our current lifestyles and try and, I don't know, change ourselves. I won't say for the better because that makes it sound like we're horrible monster people.
We are.
Well, I mean, I did talk about throwing babies to stop bears earlier, so I can't really argue with that one. But yeah, if that's where we want to end it, I guess have yourselves a nice day. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. Uh, Stay healthy.
Thank you for watching
And
or listening.
yeah, and it's on YouTube, so they could be watching whatever visualizers I put on screen. But yeah, have a nice day. I hope you enjoyed this. Stay safe. Take care of yourself mentally, and we'll see you next time. Goodbye.
Bye-bye.